Welcome, my name is Tashara and this is StarMade. And it's been a while since I worked on this station, but yeah, I didn't really realize how long it was until I checked when the last video about this project was uploaded. It was all the way back in February, so yeah, it's been a while. Um, I'm also hoping I'm sounding okay this video because I finally got a new headset. It's been a while since I upgraded for that. Um, but yeah, I finally did it, and I got a better headset than I had with the old setup. So I'm sounding hopefully okay. But let's get back to this project because, like I said, it's been a while, and a lot of people might not have seen this project at all because we did get a lot of new subscribers in the meantime. Um, the last thing I worked on, I believe, was basically this main control center of the station. So this is basically the bridge, this big map here in the middle that controls all the different doors and hangar bays, etc. From this central area within the station. So that's very useful if you want to open or close certain cargo bay doors or hangar doors, etc., etc. And of course you can see if there's something docked or not. The first thing I worked on after, well, a long hiatus is basically the back section of the station. So this area over here with the fighter bays. So as you can see here, we've got a couple of buttons over here that basically open or closes the fighter bay doors, but there was no logic inside the actual fighter bays themselves. So the fighter bays are, as you can see, is located here in the back of the station. So each of these boxes over here is one bay. Then from the outside it looks like this. So we've got this big door, hangar bay door, two on each side. So in total of 4 bays with 2 parking spots for fighters in each bay. So it's 8 in total. If you go into one of these bays, you can now see that there is my standard fighter docked inside, and I did a whole lot of things under the hood, so to speak. So a whole lot of logic to make this this fighter bay work with these fighters. So we've got this control setup over here. So that's key launching the fighter on the left or the right side individually, or just pressing this button to open the doors like this. And then if you press one of these buttons, then the fighter will launch, as you can see. It will also open the door automatically if you just press the launch button for the fighter. That works as well. Let me demonstrate. So if you close the door again, there it is, closed. So if I want to launch this fighter, I just press this button. Then as you can see here, the door opens automatically, and then the fighter launches from the bay. There it goes. So now it's quite empty here. As you can see, it's quite a spacious area, but yeah, with 2 fighters parked inside, it's already quite full. But let me jump into astronaut mode so I can show you a bit about how I incorporated the logic in this this area. Here we are in astronaut mode in the airlock leading to the bay. So let's get inside here. There we go. So here is our fighter bay again. So if we go to the side over here, this walkway over here, this has an access ramp to the basically the maintenance area of the fighter docking base. So if you go here, we are basically below, or at least at the same level as the fighter is parked. And then if you go into this area over here, we've got this access ladder on this side. So if you go down here, you have the same launch button incorporated in this area for the fighter itself. So you can also basically go in this machine type area and then launch the fighter as well. And over here we've got this button that indicates if the fighter is docked or not. And then we've got this access door over here that leads to the actual logic behind the whole fighter setup. So this is basically mirrored on each of the fighter parking spots, and has the same setup for each section. So if you go to this side, you can see here there's the access ladder on this side. If you go down there, we can see that there's the same setup over here. So that's repeated for each of the fighter base itself. And I numbered them, as you can see, in the walls as well. So this is fighter bay 2 at the moment. And like I said, we've got 4 in total. Now back in the control center of the station, we can now look at the map again, and we can see that on this side over here, bay 2 is, as you can see here, marked as well. Both of the orange lights are off, so indicating that no fighters are docked. And as you can see here, the door is colored blue, so that means that it is open instead of closed. So this will give you enough information about the state of the station and your fighter complement as well. One of the workstations over here I used for the fighter launch button. Basically this will launch all the fighters that you have in the docking base at the back, so all 8 of them. So if you have an enemy close by, you can just drop all the fighters in space, and then hopefully they can defend this station. At least in complement with the defensive measures that the station has itself, of course, because we do have some turrets on this station as well. But yeah, that's basically the fighter base now hooked up to this control center and working. But now there's another issue that I need to address, and that's basically this big empty space over here in the middle. Because this is one of the things that took me a long time to think of what I wanted to do here, and it's not entirely mapped out yet what I want to build here, but I do have some ideas, mainly because the Cyberpunk 2077 was becoming a bit more relevant recently, and I thought it might be a good idea to build some sort of Cyberpunk type street in this area. So basically we have this big space for shopping street and other type of buildings, administrative buildings, some apartments, things like that, to incorporate in this area to make it feel more alive. The first thing I did for this huge area I've got in the middle of the station here is basically block out what space I wanted to use for what boils down to the street level of this area. And I already did some building over here to connect it to the area where the command center is. I wanted this bridge spanning the width of the street level. And I come up with this design with some street lamps incorporated, so it's nicely lit up. And this leads to basically a raised platform that leads to the door of the command center. This looks very deliberate, but it's not. Basically, this was done because I made a mistake. I've got these standard heights for basically the different decks, the different floors. And it looks like I miscalculated for the command center itself, so it's 2 blocks higher than it should be, at least for the floor, at least the design that it has now. So I had to make this sort of stairs area over here to connect to the door itself. But basically this works out for me because this middle bridge will be very prominent within the street view, so it's a very important area because the command center is basically the center of power that this the station has. So I need to think of something to go on this side as well that's equally important, perhaps some embassies or something like that, at least something that needs to be close to the center of power. Down at the street level over here, I did some experimenting as well with some things I want to do. That's what this rail line is for. Basically, what I want to do, I want to have some sort of tram running down the street. So let me show you what it does. If you press this button, this basically is the dark gray bit is where the tram build is going to be. So it's a bit, how do you call it, has a longer arm compared to where the rail docker is, because this way it can actually make a sort of a turn if it's well, fictionally on a track, instead of making these weird 90-degree turns when it is centered around the docking rail. So yeah, this way I try to simulate actually having a track with a bend in it. At least I still have to build it, of course, but this is the plan for that. So hopefully that works out. But yeah, it's still an early experiment. The next thing I did, I worked some more on this entryway over here. So we had this nice open doorway for the command center, but of course we need a door, and I decided to make it extra complicated because why not? I had the space for it, and it basically worked out this way. So if you press this button, as you can see here, it's a double door. So we've got this this fence-like door on the outside that opens and closes from sliding top to bottom and bottom to top. And we've got this sliding door that closes left to right and right to left. That's on the inside. So you get this weird effect with two doors closing and opening in the opposite vectors. So that's a very nice effect and very secure, of course. And of course, I can always add some additional security to this door by using one of the workstations to even have space for a force field over here. That's something I can do. But yeah, I think, yeah, let me show you. If I press this button over here for the bridge armor, then you can see that the door now closes as well. Because this is basically the emergency button to keep everything closed, and now the door is closed on this end as well. And you can see, if you peek through the holes over here, that there is a force field now in between the two doors, so it's extra secure. Like I said, overly complicated. You can't open the door right now because it's in emergency close down mode, but if we turn it off, then the door will operate normally again. So let's do that, and now we can just press the button again and the door will open. There we go. So yeah, like I said, overly complicated but fun. This is not the station. This is a separate experiment I did with basically the Cyberpunk theming I wanted to use for the main street within the station. And this is basically based on some of the screenshots I've seen from the Cyberpunk 2077 game, specifically the apartments. So I used that as inspiration to build this setup, and I'll show you one of the apartments in detail. So if you go here, then okay, this is the back of the station, so there's nothing here. But this is the entrance way, the door to one of the apartments. So we've got this very, if you've seen from the screenshots, known apartment layout. So basically, this is the main living area. We've got this kitchen area on the side over here, and some storage areas, and technical areas over here, and then we've got this big window that has this sci-fi cyberpunk looking shape, and I have, for example, a computer message projected on the screen here that tells you what the traffic is at the moment. And if you press this button over here, then the blinds will open. This is a very inefficient way to do these blinds, because these are all separate docked entities per blind. So I don't think I will be doing that, but it was a fun experiment to do. Then on this side we have the bedroom and a door to the bathroom. So this is a quick overview of what we can do with a cyberpunk-like theme for living quarters. Although I think this might be too big still for the station, even though we have a lot of space there. But this is still a big apartment. So I did some more work on the main area within the middle of the station. And as you can see here, we might be able to pull off one of these apartments, or at least multiple, for example, on this side of the street. And of course mirrored on the other side as well. But I put in a sort of sky roof type structure to see if I can simulate some sort of daylight sensation for if you walk within this street. But I'm not sure if I like the light lines I've got going over here, so I might redo this skylight again to see if I can come up with a different design. And as you can see, I did decide to change the lightning and basically the sky of this station. Go with this geometrical pattern. I like it a bit more because it is artificial, and of course there is no real sky here. As you can see here, if I move up, there is some elevation as well within the sky, just to break up some of the monotony of the pattern itself. But I still need to work on it a bit more. I also did a lot of work on the street itself, and as you can see now, there is basically a tram line now going through the whole street area with different stops on each side of the track, in the middle, and then one at the end over there and one at the end over there. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's actually all that practical because as you can see here, I've got this nice little setup for a tram. It's not done yet because this is just a concept. But yeah, if I press the button to make it go, this one, as you can see here, it's not fast. This is the top speed of a rail, so yeah, I think you're still faster just walking. And what I did is basically I make this brown and this basically this rail line over here docked entities to make this this corner possible over here. And as you can see here, as the tram comes in, it does stop at the designated stop areas I've built here. Basically there's a button in the command center that basically sets the tram at a loop. Let's see, when did I put it? Oh yeah, train transport, this one. If I set this to on, then the tram line will basically go, and as you can see here, it goes nicely around the bend over here, all fixed. And then when it comes into a tram stop, it will basically stop for a couple of seconds and then continue on to the next tram stop. So this way you have a hop-on, hop-off situation with this tram. So you basically hop on of each station stop and then get off where you need to go. So as you can see here, now it comes in. It will stop for a couple of seconds. There we go. It stops now, and then there it goes again. So yeah, just a couple of seconds, enough time to hop on the tram itself and then grab some gravity, I think, and then it will continue on. But like I said, it's not a fast system, so basically the walking speed is perhaps a bit slower, but not by much. But yeah, on that bombshell, I'd like to end this episode because I think we've run out of time. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.